Hello and welcome to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So in today's video, right, just wants to recap at least this section 4 on how to conduct a proper research and gather quality data, because this is a very essential course, or in this case section, that will give me is the necessary skills to actually do my job. Okay, and also another important thing is from this moment on, and I will argue that for a lot of people out there, being able to conduct a research, gather quality data, present a report that shows you how you came to the conclusion with statistics, different charts, and show them the meaningful patterns of that. It will be essential and crucial, especially here in this digital era that the pandemic forced us, or at least gave us an opportunity to a lot of people out there, so we can know or choose what we have to do. Okay, and especially here we're living in this digital society, it is important, very, very important, to find a way to have mental clarity. So, recap this course, or in this case, this section, will give me this kind of insight that I need for. Okay? So, after all, I'm looking this as sort of guidelines, right? Like a compass that allowed me to know where I should go. And also this course is taught by Paul Menders, the Zero to Mastering Structure. And from there, okay, the whole point of this is first, so look at how to get, how to conduct a proper research and gather quality data. So if you're going to conduct a research, it is important to recognize that data is something powerful, because it can help you to inform, persuade, or reinforce your point of view, but also can be misleading. So when you're conducting a research, first, especially for a consulting project, first, recognize is the most valuable data source. First party data that come from the company, so you usually have to sign an NDA agreement, or the second party data that comes from trust sources, okay, where they have a great report of research report, peer review, so they are not anonymous. And lastly, the aggregate sources, which are sources that you can qualify the quality of that. So you can check, sometimes it's behind to some paywall, but you can check is who the author really is. So knowing that, okay, then I look at how to conduct a research. And first, see things from different perspectives, because things are not black and white. So play devil advocate with yourself. Second, gather relevant data, as well as take notes and keep record of every source you obtain. Qualify the data that you are getting, and don't forget to circle back with the client. Now, I saw and I also learned how Paul Menders, the Zero to Mastering Structure, conduct a research example on a tourist website. So first, by looking at the genetics, so understand what this company offer, the products and service, right? And then go into the specifics to understand what is the company review, the prices, the categories. If you can have access to the first party data, that's great, okay, especially if you're conducting a research, because now you can see what they have done in the past and how they have been performing. And from there, you can now provide your suggestion much more accurate. So once you conduct this research, okay, on their website, personal brands, or the product and service, you understand what they offer, and this is something that I'm going to apply for a client that I recently contact. Okay, so he has a Shopify applications where, in fact, this is something also new that I'm going to do that. And again, I'm going to conduct a research as well, and especially for this client. So once I sign an NDA agreement to them, then I'm going to apply all of these topics that I learned so far, or that I have learned so far. So once you know what these are very, very important for the client as well, and for you as a business consultant. So once you know what this, and this is also just to make a quick pause here, and because after this course, I conduct a research on the e-commerce. Okay, so I'm quite familiar of a lot of the concepts, so I prepare myself for this. I can also join that previous experience that I have with e-commerce and JavaScript based frameworks and environments, okay, with Shopify. So that's great. That's actually very, very, very good. So with that, okay, so this is also something that I need to conduct research for this client. Okay, so once you conduct this research, okay, so by looking at the genetics and then in the specifics, understand what they offer, okay. If you can have access to the first party data, that's great, okay. Then you look now and you conduct a research to know who the other players are in that industry, aka a competitor analysis. So to see what are the other players are doing, see what you can learn from them, and provide your suggestions, and make a keyword research based on that. So this keyword research, you can use keyword tools out there to understand what's going on in that industry. So there's a series of steps here. Let's going to say block, right? So the first block is to understand what this client offer. Okay, understand the offer, the products, and the service. Then go into the specific on the first block, and then look now at if you can have access to the first party data, that's something great. Okay, and then conduct the research, in this case the competitor analysis on the second part. So conduct this competitor analysis, well, to understand who the other players are in that industry, what they're doing, and see what you can learn from them by creating a keyword research. Okay, so after that, now you're going to use some keyword tool out there to understand what's going on in this industry, which is the step 3. Okay, and ultimately you're now going to conduct a research specifically to get up-to-date data. Okay, so the first step, I will argue that this is the understand the client's offer, and the second step is the competitor analysis, and the third step is to understand what's going on in that industry, and on the fourth step is get up to date data based on your research. All right. Okay. Cool. Cool. So based on this knowledge, okay, what can I do? So based on this knowledge, what can I do? And this is something important. Okay. So once I look at this and I understand how to do that, uh, again, this is serve as guidelines. Okay. I also conduct my own research to understand what an e-commerce is, which refers to, according to Shopify, it refers, according to Amazon, refers to the trade and good and service on the internet. So it is your bustling city center or your brick and mortar shops converts into zeros and one. Okay. And while Shopify mentioned that even though that online business or e-business refers to operating all aspects of an online business, whether it is marketing, conducting a market research, creating ads campaign, developing marketing strategies, managing social networks, sales, contact sell leads, do sales or video presentation, do sell calls or video presentation, as well as negotiate contract and close deals, finance, which record every financial transactions, create reports based on that, keep track of your taxes, the R&D, which is recruit, so research and Jesus, human research. I mean, where they take care of recruiting talent, administering benefits and salaries, as well as providing technical support or continuous teaching and training, as well as solve employee issues, right? Now, after that, okay, after that, you also have something, you have operations, which broadly speaking, they take care of improving or creating new production process, set quality standards, the IT, which creates computer networks, implementing and design and implementing computer systems, provide technical support, ensure data security, the customer service, which addressing customer inquiries, solve customer complaints and refunds, provide technical support, as well as check the customer satisfaction and the R&D, the research and development. So they're responsible for creating or improving new prototypes or existing one, developing patterns. So while e-business refers to operating all aspects of this, e-commerce refers specifically to the trade in good of service on the internet. So then, okay, so with that knowledge and concept, and I mentioned is the quote here. Okay, so with that, sorry. So with that, again, then I look at the different actors involved in an e-commerce. Okay, so you have business, consumers, and government. Okay, and how they relate each other. So, for example, the most common widely e-commerce use case is the business to consumers. Okay, such as retailers like Amazon, eBay, Target, I mean eBay, not like Amazon. So Amazon, Target, Walmart, so retailers, subscription service, Netflix, Spotify, ordering, food and delivery service, like Grubhub or uh, Uber Eats, as well as online travel and booking, Booking.com, Airbnb, Expedia, digital marketplace, right? Like Amazon, and also Etsy, eBay. Okay, so this is the most widely common use case. Okay, and then I also look at the another business model in the e-commerce, like business to business. Okay, such as online marketplace like Alibaba, Amazon e-business, eBay business. Uh, well, actually, this is the example here. Okay, the electronic data interchange, which is traditionally paperwork that were made on paper, such as purchase order or invoice. Now it is done electronically using these systems. IBM provide that. EDI, online portals, so to streamline their supply chains or public procurement portals for very large business, such as SAP Ariba Network or Walmart, uh, Walmart Supplier Center, wholesale e-commerce. Okay, where now manufacturers and distributors sell directly to business like Gringo or Uline. Business to business payment solution, okay, such as Stripe and PayPal. Then I look at the consumer to business, okay, like freelance work on platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, People Per Hour, Arc, you name it. Okay, that's their business model. It's a consumer to business, where there's a vast majority of people here to actually find a particular slide of that business, especially software developers, web design, uh, or graphic designs, copywriting. Okay, so freelance work. Uh, User-generated content, for example, OnlyFans, a great example of that. User-generated content, online service such as SurveyMonkey, crowdfunding for individuals or small business that wants to raise funds for their projects, and reverse auction, such as name your price or price tag. Okay, another business model here, okay, is the government to business, where you have public procurement portals. Okay, so the government agency set an online portal so business can bid on government contracts like the FBO, the Federal Business Opportunity on the US, or the UK Contract Finder Service, right? I also, and another example of the government to business tax filing payment portals like the electronic federal tax paying system on the US, or the HM Revenue and Custom in the UK, as well as international trade and custom clearance, like electronic custom clearance or export declarations, permits and licensing applications like food licensing or building permits, as well as the business registration. So on the US, the Small Business Administration, and on the UK is the Company House. And when it comes now to government to consumers, we have tax payment portals such as the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. So tax payment portals on the US, the IRS, as well as the how do you put it? As well as the sorry, tax payment portals, vehicle registration and driving license, passport applications, utility bills, and birth and death certificates. So in the US, you do that through the National Center for Health Statistics, and on the UK through the General Register Office. And then I look at the government, or in this case the consumer to government. Okay, so things like payment of fines and fees, online donations, online petitions, license like fishing licensings or building hunting permit. So once you conduct this research, okay, is to understand what are the most common business model, right, out there, specifically on the e-commerce. Then I look at the, and now I get it. Now I'm get it. Why a lot of people are actually up to business to consumer models, right? So business sells to individual or consumers, and the most common model with many variations. Now I get it why a lot of people are actually going into that. Okay, the business to consumers, and because there is a vast majority of people that they are unaware of what's going on in the industry, so are quite successful or not. And when it comes to business, this is more to improve operations. Most of the time, I will argue is to improve business operations. So consumers to business, most of the times to sell their time, okay? And the consumers to consumers is consumers sell to other consumers. So business create only marketplace that connect consumers, Amazon Marketplace. So once they conduct that, okay, this research to understand what an e-commerce is, as well as the different type of e-commerce, right? Then I also look at the competitor analysis. So I perform the competitor analysis to understand who the other players are in that industry. So we have here is Amazon, Alibaba, Shopify. Okay, so Shopify is an e-commerce platform for online business headquartered in Canada, Ontario, and founded in 2006 by Tobias Lutke and Scott Lake. Okay, awesome. IKEA, but this is a Swedish multinational company based in the Netherlands, that designs and sells ready-to-assemble furniture. So kitchen appliance, ready-to-assemble furniture, kitchen appliance, decorations, home accessories, and other goods and home service. Founded in 1943 by Fyodor Ingvar Kaprat. Him. So you have Amazon, which was founded in e-commerce. It started in 1994. Alibaba, Shopify, IKEA, Walmart, eBay, okay, So I would like to know more about the industry. So that's the reason why I conduct a keyword research or this market research. So e-commerce market share. So according to Statista, the e-commerce market, okay, I said all if you want to, worldwide. So show more. But what about the graphics? Table of counter editor picks key figures of e-commerce. Okay, key figures of e-commerce here. Rest of the web, Alibaba. This is in 2021, based on GMV. Who is GMV? Gross merchandise value. Okay. Gross merchandise value. JD.com, Pinduo, Shonin, Shop, Rakuten, Amazon, Apple, eBay. Worldwide. Amazon. Interesting. Walmart represents 1%. Holy damn. So Alibaba, JD.com, Pinduoduo, Shopee, Shonin.com, Rakuten, and Amazon 13. What if I want to know is instead of worldwide is on the Canada, right? So you have Canada here, like Canada here. Retail e-commerce revenue here. So business to business e-commerce, online retailer key figures of e-commerce in Canada. But this is the number of users in e-commerce. 30 million. Oh my god, I get it. Retail e-commerce revenue in Canada, monthly retail e-commerce sales. No, business to consumers e-commerce. Okay. E-commerce insight for you. Interesting. Business to business. Can I download this? I don't think so. Exactly, because you have to be a business for this. And they selling this information for that. E-commerce in Canada. Interesting. Top online store in Canada by e-commerce net sales. So if I ask ChatGPT here about that, okay, so it's going to log in again. Will you? Okay, log in. Please detect that. Okay. Please do. No, no problem. Okay. Here we are. That's right. Login, please. Here we go again. Okay. Continue, please. All right. And provide me this information if you know, right? Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, Canadian Tire, Costco, Home Depot, Stample Canada, Hudson Bay, Indigo, Lululemon. Lululemon is a Canadian athletic apparel retailer known for its yoga inspired. Okay, I get it. Top say store in Canada in 2021. Provide percentage of market share. Yeah. Is Shopify e-commerce leading? Yeah, is Shopify e-commerce leading in Canada at 2021? It's not an online store. It provides a robust e-commerce platform that allows business of all sizes. Okay. Shopify statistics and facts. Market value. Market capitalization of the largest internet company worldwide. Alphabet. This is market capitalization. Shopify is another. Interesting. Market capitalization, of course. Shopify has, and Baidu is gaining a lot of that. So Shopify is a market. It's a market by itself. The other is Amazon. Okay, and Tencent. Okay. So because the opportunity that I have right now is with Shopify, I can align with this platform. Okay. I can align with this platform. Yeah, I can align with this platform. ServiceNow. So by market capitalization. Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre is bigger than Shopify. You gotta be kidding me, man. Holy moly, man. You gotta be kidding me, man. Completely, nigga. You gotta be kidding me, man. Market capitalization, but still Shopify, after all, still on the game. But Shopify, after all, is still on the game. Oh, interesting. This is built on that WooCommerce within Shopify. Market share of leading e-commerce software platforms and technology worldwide as July 2023. Shopify is still one. And WooCommerce, Wix stores, and the rest. Squarespace online store. Interesting. And Shopify, as well as the WooCommerce. This is worldwide. Global e-commerce platform market. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So even though Shopify is not as big as Amazon, but Shopify provides that. Okay. Mm, mhm, Since going public in 2015, Shopify annual revenue increased significantly, hitting over 4.6 billion in US dollar in 2021. As stated by the company, the business is based on subscription service and merchant solutions. Merchants can subscribe to get full package of e-commerce tools, including the upgrade version from the Shopify Plus, while booking additional solutions, mostly related to payment service. That is the case with Shopify Payment, whose value has rapidly grown over the last year. The online shopping demand shift driven by the coronavirus pandemic made the e-commerce industry more competitive. Exactly. The online shopping demand shift driven by coronavirus pandemic made the e-commerce industry more competitive than ever before. Small retailers require constantly expanding series of marketing and fulfilling service, which Shopify has highly invested in. The company's strive for innovation is confirmed by year-over-year increasing investment in technology. Shopify research and development spending nearly quadrupled between 2018 and 2021. From software to shopping. Are turbulent times over? Shopify was not immune to the layoff wave. Hitting several tech companies operating in the e-commerce in July 22, the company cut nearly 10% of the global workforce, a big reset in the overall business strategy. Coming last in the company investment, the open source software provider Remix. The open source software provider Remix has been acquired by Shopify at the end of 2002. Remix should help Shopify software developers to create better and more customized e-commerce storefront, optimize service for merchants even more than before. I get it, man. Remix. Mhm. Build better website with Remix. Focus on web standard and modern web apps UX. You're simply going to build better website. While you were waiting for your static site to build, distributed web infrastructure good, really good. Break through the static. Remix has a cheat code, nested router. There are also the semantic boundary of data loading and code splitting. Hover on the tab button to see how they are all related. Okay. Through nested routes, Remix can eliminate nearly every loading state. Most web apps fetch inside of components, creating request waterfalls, slower load, and janks. Remix loads data in a parallel of the server and sends a fully formatted HTML document, way faster, jank-free. Without Remix, that's because his fetching is in parallel. Okay. Remix load data in parallel to the server and send a full form HTML document. Yeah, but that includes also a spinach on. Next route allow Remix to make your app as fast as an instant. Interesting. You ever notice most of the code in your app is for changing data? Resilient progressively enhanced data updates are built in. Okay, I get it. So Remix run. Block tutorial short. And this. And loading data for this. A little refactor. Import get post. Pulling data from the data source. Dynamic route parent. Interesting. App tutorial. Joke apps, the little one. Okay. All right. So Shopify. I get. So Shopify. So coming last in the company investment, the open source software provider Remix has been acquired by Shopify at the end of 2002. Remix should help Shopify software developers create better and more customized e-commerce stores, optimizing service for merchants even more than before. Okay. Shopify shops in America. So Shopify revenue for merchant solutions and Shopify annual revenue. So once I conduct this research, all right, based on Shopify, and to understand the Shopify, because at the end of the day, that client needs to meet to provide and fix some issues on their Shopify store. Okay, my friend. Okay. All right. It's like, okay. All right. So after it comes out that competitor analysis here, we get to understand who the other players are in that industry. So we have Alibaba, which is a big competitor. So Alibaba, Amazon, the giant on the e-commerce market. So Amazon, Alibaba, IKEA, Walmart, Shopify, eBay, okay? And understand now what's going on in that industry by using is the keyword research, okay? Like keyword research with like e-commerce, okay? So e-commerce are referring highly to Shopify stores, Shopify websites, and Shopify website design, okay? Amazon online shopping, Kindle, Alexa, Fire Stick, Amazon gift card. Okay. Alibaba wholesale, Alibaba online shopping, AliExpress wholesale, Alibaba products, AliExpress online shopping. So Shopify store, Shopify theme, Shopify website, Shopify POS, Shopify website design. And eBay here. So most of the time there's a huge market for Shopify store and Shopify website like this. And so with that, okay, so once I conduct that research, let me take a quick pause here, be right back, going to the bathroom. And hello, welcome back. Okay. So now that I conduct that research, okay, so then is how to create effective and visually appealing presentation, okay, where so this report that you're going to present to your client will really you will need to make it visually appealing so the client understands what you're talking about, because people oftentimes are visual learning, and there is an MIT study conducted in 2014 where by a neuroscientist where let me see if I can recall that. the human brain or the eye can detect image for as little as 13 milliseconds. So MIT, this is something that I put here, right below here, right? So MIT neuroscientists, okay, so MIT neuroscientists find the brain can identify image scenes for as little as 13 milliseconds. So actually that's something interesting, by the way, okay? Okay, okay. So, uh, the whole point of looking at this and recap this section is, well, to recognize the importance of creating a visually engaging presentation after you conduct your research, where first, before creating this report, you need to know exactly what is the data that you're going to put in there. Then put the most relevant data first, and if you have, for example, recurring clients, have a template to do that. So use visualization and then you can use visualizations like a graph or different charts to expand on that. Okay, by putting the most relevant data first, and then using visualizations with different charts and bars, you can expand that. So it's important to recognize also that by presenting you data in a visual format will help you, your client, and yourself to take more better informed decisions. Okay, that's what will happen. That's what happens. So when you display that in a visually appealing way with the statistics and charts, so it is more easy to point out these meaningful patterns. And as a consultant, the client needs to know how you came with that conclusions. And with that knowledge, you can put your suggestion into practice. Business is going to see that you are above and beyond as a consultant, and you're not another consultant that just does the bare minimum to get by. It's crucial here. Okay? Business will see that you are. Okay, so business is going to see that you go above and beyond as a consultant, that you're not another consultant that just does the bare minimum to get by. Most of the time, that's what happened with a lot of consultants, that you just do the bare minimum to get by. So in my own words, it's like this. It's like, so the client wants to know how you reach to that conclusion through visually engaging presentations with chart and statistic to see the meaningful patterns, and from there allow you to implement your suggestions as a consultant, and that you're not that you're and then that you're not another consultant that just does the bare minimum to get by. And here the internet is full of people like that, full of them. A lot of people that just do the bare minimum just to get by, and ultimately that's not good for the business, because then you should dedicate to other things, you know. Essentially is that, so you should dedicate to other things. So then I look at how do you say this? Then I look at the visualization, the different bars, and the different charts that you can use here. You get to show data. So you have things like bar graph to show change over time, to compare different categories, pie charts to compare part to a whole, to make a part to a whole comparison with continuous or discrete data. And this is impactful with small data set or with small amount of variables. Line graph, great for showing time series relationship, such as acceleration, decelerations, trends, or volatility. I also look at the area chart, which, unlike line graph, again, this allows you to show time series relationship, but with volume. So you can represent another variable here. And scatter plot, okay, so when you want to see the meaning or the correlations of different data points. Again, correlation is not causality, but that's a whole new different video. But the point here is that, for example, you want to measure is the customer satisfactions, and on the y-axis you have that, the customer satisfaction, and on the x-axis the time to respond. So the less time it took the customer service to respond, the better the customer experience. I also look at the bubble chart, where this bubble chart allows you, it is useful to show again correlation of data with ranking or nominal data, something that I'm going to talk about that later. So for example, here you can represent now three variables. So it's a combo mix between the scatter plot and the area chart, where for example, again, you have on the y-axis is time to spend on internet, and the y-axis and the x-axis the Jesus. On the y-axis you have is the time spent on the internet. On the x-axis you have the age, and the circle or the bubbles represent is the genders, okay, with different colors. So that's great. Also, another chart that I saw is the heat maps, where now you can, so this is useful to show categorical data that can be grouped in different groups or class, such as nominal or ordinal data. Nominal data is data that doesn't have an inherent order. For example, color, cards, ethnicity, fruits. And ordinal data is data that has an inherent order. Okay, like education levels, high school diploma, associate degree, bachelor, master, PhD, health status, very poor, fair, good, excellent, job seniority, entry level, mid, senior level, C executive, performance rating, when you want to show is 1 star to 5. Okay, so these heat maps allow you to show categorical data using intensity of colors that represent that can be used to represent data on a map, on a table. Okay, so for example, if you want to show is on an image, and this might be quite polemic, is what are the number of right-wing voters, or what is the state that has the most right-wing voters or the left-wing voters, right? and yeah, you can use intensity of color to represent its different state for them. Again, it's quite polemic. Another is the tables that allow you to represent cells administrated. Yeah, cells admin. Jesus, that allow you to show comparison among cell representative or where block view are coming from. Okay, so also look at waterfall when you want to measure its performance over time, and geomaps to show distribution of data on a map. So for example, the number of retail that a particular brand has or over a state or on a state. Okay, in pictograms. Okay, so where pictograms are how do you put it? So where pictograms are statistic, so it's a visualization that displays statistic with icons. Okay, so Clean That Water or cleanwater.org actually have a good pictogram. Okay, so it had a good pictogram for that, where they show in a grid of 9 tiers, 3 by 3. When one tier is just, so when one tier is color in brown and the other is in blue. Well, in a text at the left side, 1 in 9 people on Earth don't have access to clean water. Okay, so this is an example of pictograph. And then I also look at, once I know the most common charts that we can use to visualize data, okay, then I look at, well, the do and don'ts, especially if you're going to create a report of set an organized structure, as well as use benchmark, and make it easy to follow as well. So the do's, the don'ts is, so don't use precise number, so use precise number in that case, avoid to not use them, lose your data after you present that, and then some communication tips to help you as a consultant. First, break down complex topics. And again, as a consultant, the communication skill is something crucial. And not only as a consultant, as a human being, the communication is crucial. So, in this context, as a consultant, so it is important to break down complex topics, make sure that you understand the goal, and avoid any miscommunications. Understand the working and communication habits of your clients, okay, whether it's the client prefers do some video calls or prefer this call, email, as well as be a team player. Keep track every interaction that you're having with your client, and don't forget to circle back with them. And if you want to build recurring client, which is the ultimate goal of this, okay, perform A/B testing. Okay, perform A/B testing, where these A/B tests are, the A is the original version of that, and B is the expected optimized versions. So there's some good practice, especially to do that, because you can do as many tasks as possible. But first is the following: do one task at a time. Yeah, do one test at a time, and test one variable while doing minor changes. So for example, if you want to see the impact of a particular button or a paragraph, let's say a copyright content. So changing that in a position or even the content of that paragraph. So by doing one test one variable, and make minor change, you can pinpoint back to what drive the most user retention, and conversion, and what actually doesn't work, right? So okay, all right, okay, and then, right, and then yeah, and then also test this simultaneously. Do the test simultaneously. Split your test in 50-50. Okay, so small chunk of your users want to test these features, or let's say a 50% of your users want to test these new features, whereas others don't. Okay, and the other, okay, is the how do you put it, so before doing the test, deciding how significant it is. Okay, so now with this understanding and this which is something that I'm going to apply for this client. Okay, so there's some couple things that I want to apply for this client, which is conduct a research on the client, as well as the technology and its platform. Okay, conduct research on a client and its platform, Shopify. Okay, make sure the other is exactly conduct a research on the client and its platform, then create a visually engaging presentation. Okay, so conduct a research on the client and its platform, Shopify, and create visually engaging presentation for that. So this is the secret sauce. So we're done. Create visually engaging presentation list to myself. Okay. So yeah, this is something, and keep track the last meeting. So keep track last meeting. Okay. All right. Okay. So that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.